That's really cool. Are there any other shortcomings of modern clinical trials besides that? Like what are we looking at versus like what you're doing versus how we see it right now in the standard allopathic model?
Yeah, I think, the diversity thing's a big detriment. The cost is just, again, absolutely prohibitive.
Yeah.
So the typical stat you hear somewhere in the kind of hundreds of millions up to excess of billions for a pharma drug to get through FDA approval. So I don't fault them that in that situation that it's so expensive, yeah, you better damn well have a patentable product. And therefore you instantly are only looking at synthetic options that don't exist in the natural world. You can't really patent. It's really difficult to patent things in the natural world. And so that high speed or that high cost and that slow speed just cripples the ability for anyone who doesn't follow that model to go get evidence, to go get trials. And so you kind of started off the interview earlier with this, but by lowering the cost and speed to the way that we have, and it's actually several orders of magnitude. It's somewhere around 100 to 1,000x cheaper. It's about 10x faster than, say, a pharma trial. And in our model, for these wellness brands, they go, oh, well, I don't need a patent to invest in clinical research. I have a brand, the data's tied to my brand, and I have this product. And do I go spend this money on like some billboard ads? Or do I go spend this money proving that my product works, which is a permanent, durable, long-lasting differentiation? And so yeah, we get really excited about these. Oh, the other thing about trials, I'm glad you brought that up as well. There's also a criticism of trials that the data is very artificial. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean, sure, someone in a trial, in a classic pharma study, saw benefit. But that was when they went to the clinic every day and didn't miss a single dose and had people, and so they don't reflect real world conditions. And it's not that uncommon where these drugs get FDA approved based on beautiful trial data. It hits the real world. And for whatever reason, the actual outcomes aren't that great. And doctors stop prescribing it, insurance companies stop paying for it. And what happened? Well, what happened was the difference between being in a highly artificial, sterile, controlled trial and then being out in the real world where you skip doses or you don't adhere to a crazy strict diet or you look very different than the people in the trial. So by studying people in their own homes, studying them in these real world situations and studying diverse populations, the data is also much more predictive of how these things will actually work when someone pulls that off a shelf at Ralph's or at Sprouts or Whole Foods and starts using it in the kind of natural, chaotic life that we all inevitably have.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And it's also cool too, because with the trials that you're doing, since these are natural compounds, the side effects are going to be a lot less. There's a less of a concern for these really intense side effects that we have to be concerned about. Just because we know with natural products, like I'm not saying that people won't have side effects at all, but they're not going to be something that could potentially kill you versus like a pharmaceutical drug that we don't really know exactly how it's made up. And since it's man-made versus like natural made, something that God, nature, whatever you want to call, gave us versus something that has been artificially created. And so I think that's a great, I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah. And so in our model, what we really focus on are products that can already be sold. Those are the ones that we allow onto our platform. And yes, to sell a natural product in the US, there's systems that you need to go through to show that it is safe. And a vast majority of these natural products have really long historical usage. And so you kind of have that, you could call it ancient wisdom, or you could just call it that we have tons and tons and tons of long-term observational safety data on these. Yeah. And all our trials also still go through third-party human ethics review to make sure that we are indeed using products that are indeed safe. So we do our own internal review, then we get third-party oversight from human ethics committees to make sure we're not exposing anyone to something that could be remotely unsafe for them.
Stress is a common factor that affects everyone in today's fast-paced world, leading to various issues. What if the answer to a better stress response is in a key nutrient? I'm talking about magnesium. Actually, I'm more specifically talking about Magnesium Breakthrough by Optimizers. This is a one-of-a-kind product, and it's designed to reverse low levels of magnesium, which could be causing a multitude of other health problems.